Yeah.
but much, much weaker in those first few levels.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where Fnatic are hoping that they can have a bit more threat on the side lanes. But I do like the Galio here, kind of having that tank for Shifter's lineup. They were a little bit lacking when it came.
Definitely very well played. See what else they can get off of this. Not too much for now, but it does mean around level 6 we might have even more of an all-in threat from Baduk, and it does mean that Sheo, not bad for the early additional bit of damage. Top lane, we'll have to keep our eyes on it though, as Rooster taunt to set up. Sheo starting to wander in, overheat there for Sobero. Trying to keep Sobero baited into a false security, but surprise, there's Elise in here. The equalizer has been laid down, but Sheo quick to follow. Resonating strike flash on. Fnatic are going to be even 4v4 here, but Upset is not in the area, and that's a decent chunk of your damage. They also do not have the equalizer from the previous play, crucially. So going to settle for 2 and immediately back off. Don't want to stick around too long.
Yeah, so Sheo at least will be able to get one. Razork just going to continue his clear down towards this bottom side. Sheo kind of losing time here on clearing out his bot side camps, which are up though. So I'm curious after this, as both junglers are moving down towards this bottom lane. But with Culling now gone on Upset, they didn't really get the hurt they were hoping for out of it.
Oh, hang on. Full committal here, locking Nuke into the pit, but pulling him out in the meantime as well. Vladdy unbinding his soul and rebinding.
Same with the play in mid, but unfortunately having used all their summoner spells, they don't feel confident to take the fight even in the 3v4. So instead, you're seeing the move from Razork up into this top side, tried to stake away.
Of course, Fnatic, anytime they get set up on the objective first, Vladdy has permanent access to Q3. If they're late to the party, it's a lot harder, but walking through this choke, very dangerous. Sheo trying to find an angle in. Nice ulti to follow, just looking to take Sheo out of the equation. Immediate dash back. Not going to mean much for the side of Shifters. Unfortunately, Vladdy, this is his 3rd most played champion career long, is the Yone, but little moments like him moving in, chunking out Nuke right before an objective start has just made the game a lot easier. That said, Sheo trying to take things into his own hand. All in, committing on a Razork, who flag and drags out, and then jumps onto Nuke! And now they're getting snapped back, and it's a 1v1. The Thunderdome, Razork versus Nuke. The Dragon Strike is there. Sobero to back it up. Lostbus still living. Fnatic getting away with murder here. How are they doing it? Vladdy once again on the front line. Paddock, fire rains from the sky as that man is sent home in a body bag.
Absolutely roasted at the feet of Fnatic. The collapse, perfect. Sobero knowing that he had that TP to join in. And Fnatic get the dragon off the back of it as well.
And I'll be honest, expectations were a Fnatic favor.
Thinking of opening up on top side, because you are losing mid turret with no protection here. So I thought he'd try and make the cross-map play, because you can see they're constantly...
To once again cancel a recall, he has denied at least a wave, if not 2 waves of CS. There is a Diffie in the mid lane.
The man is he back?
Is he back?
I want to say he's back.
Well, okay, this is the thing. Yeah, it's like it feels temporary, right? It doesn't feel quite clear as Sobero's life definitely doesn't feel safe on the top side. That at least is very clear. Paddock slowly walking him down. Equalizer across the board. A nice shutdown for Shifters. Ganks. And just, I think, better play overall this far.
And they're stealing away more, plus threatening that tower, the top side as well.
Ulti into the charm. This is one of the big downsides. Core. They can't just go. They don't have a Syndra. They don't have a way to just one-shot a dude.
We have to give them one of those comical like extendo punches, you know, the ones that you can press and then it
give
shoots
them.
Cody versus Acme, I think it is. Something to say. Yeah.
We'll see Shifters versus Acme after this one. As Razork is once again there. Sheo getting cold. Oof. Folks, I don't like to say a game is over before it's over. But y'all have eyes. And Nuke is getting...
Nukes are closed.
Nukes closed.
I mean, Shifters are trying to ARAM, and Fnatic were like, no, we didn't queue up for this, so we're going to go play side lanes.
Flash. Equalizer. Tidal wave across the team. Rooster has now gotten involved. Razork has full committed onto Rooster. Not quite what you'd expect. Shifters are getting pushed back. Ultis to action, did not quite line up, although Vladdy's trying to move in on his own. Vladdy might have cost his life, is unstoppable, just barely able to make it back. Sobero overheating over the wall. Already going to be dead, which is triple ocean for Fnatic. Just like fine. Enemy team's pretty all in, so you're not going to get... It's kind of the second time we've seen an instance where Fnatic, despite their incredible lead, or maybe because of their incredible lead, are skipping some steps, overlooking some little things. The really messy team fight in the mid lane where none of the ultis were synced, and now we've seen some side waves not be synced. They're getting away with it because Shifters not responding super ideally. But at the very least, Shea will grab a blue buff, and Fnatic set to grab the soul in 2 minutes' time. feels like that should be the final nail in the coffin, although there's a lot of nails in this coffin already, so might not even need it if they can find an angle. Product caught out, that's a good bit of damage. Forced to backstep, has transcended and escaped.
Yeah. But you still have to be careful again. So Fnatic kind of that big dive threat that works alongside Razork. So kind of nullifying some of Fnatic's dive. Still, I think Fnatic should win this, let me be clear. But you can see...
Moving up, getting cold, the minions are there, the equalizer is down, Razork is in the back line, knock up on his stand looks decent, tidal wave hitting onto 2. Sobro debating if he can follow. Both sides throwing out a lot of ultis, but Shifters doing a good job of just backing away. Still, it's Fnatic with control of the river. Fnatic trying to poke Shifters as they want to take space, but a TP back now, coming in for Rooster. Eyes on the objective. Fnatic not quite focused on it. Vladdy stacking up the Q3, ready to unbind the soul if necessary. Sober off the side in trouble, forced to flash away from Product, who's starting to get some good damage. Vladdy over the wall, Q3 into Shale, quick snap back to get away from Rooster, dragging down Soul in favor of Fnatic. Shifters debating if they want to fall up here. Nice knockup coming in for Razork. Rooster getting shut down. Resurrection now coming in from Razork. Will he lose his actual life? Exhaust on the Vladdy. Gonna be forced to snap back here in a second, but it's a double kill. His upset comes in over the wall. Looking for a knockup. Down goes another Fnatic. Still 5 members standing strong. A TP in from Sobro. And Shifters falling apart. A 12,000 gold lead for Fnatic.
Paduk tried to be the difference maker, but it's Lospa who puts him in jail. Fnatic find the fight, and they should be able to find the game win.
If they don't, that would be very surprising. Fnatic, incredibly dominant fight, good patience on a lot of their cooldowns. And you can see Shifters, they're just too far behind. Even if they had won the 50-50 on the Drake, it's still likely that Fnatic wins the fight. And Fnatic continuing that streak of improvement that started last week, reminding us how good this team can be. They pretty cleanly win out on this game 1. They're taking their time fountain diving. That's a level of confidence you'll love to see.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd love to see this version of Fnatic mid lane if there's, you know, a bunch of supports roaming around the map as well. So, like, I think you kind of just snooker yourself a little bit if you actually end up playing this Taliyah bot lane. Plus, you don't get the value of Taliyah having those access to the side lanes and stuff. So, yeah, I think it's just for supports kind of like, hey, we're going to really hinder you if you start to move around the map too much.
Yeah.
But it does mean that supports are going to be stuck to the bottom lane. Like we're kind of seeing at the moment. No, not stuck, but Stand is sitting in bot lane with Paduk for a lot more, as Gank, Nuke should be able to jump away from this.
Shao's here. They might not want to jump away. Shao trying to stack up. More foil going all in on Vladdy. Rocket jump forward, looking to burn him down, but Vladdy getting a little bit of an extra shield. Nuke looking to finish that one. Gets a reset on the jump. Now flash away. Razork will at least get the 1-for-1. Looking to leverage Product's TP to stay active here. It is a battle for Raptors. Those little chickens. Now going to go out. Lospa wants to kick things off. Razork already has level 6, but they immediately collapse over the Nocturne. Gets deleted. He can't even push his ulti button. Shifters in game 2, finding the aggressive angles. Things working.
Lost push. I don't think you should have engaged him.
I agree, but sometimes you're stuck in the previous game where no one had any hard CC, and that's what it felt like here. This time around, though, things looking good to start off with upset. Flash forward. Oh, doesn't get the 4-shot. Flick back. Oh, Fnatic fans, avert your eyes. Look away. Oh, my God. So good from Shifters. Form Fnatic celebration hype train that has been continuing across all of their previous games, starting to fall a little off the tracks. Shifters look a lot better when they have CC to play with.
6 for Stand though, not for loss, but that solar flare could be devastating.
Ulti goes out. Voidgrub's already taken down. Shao gets deleted right as the fight kicks off. Sobro gonna find, Rooster gonna find the multi-man stun. We'll just leave strike away instantaneously. Vladdy getting very aggressive. All of Fnatic flashes the wall to keep things going. Product, beautiful flick back. Fnatic way too far, but they don't quite finish off Razork. Now there's a Jackson melee range, but Upset is once again out of ammo. Furiously reloading his pistols. He starts to free fire, but the counter strike is finally there. One more bullet. Go forward, but he learned from last time. He learned he's not walking in. Level of aggression to try to bring their team back into this game. Now the good news is Sten was someone who picked up one of those kills, which means the gold not in an ideal place for Shifters, but Sobro was looking in trouble. Now he's got a 3v2 in favor of Fnatic on the top side. Shao, the one who's overstayed. The fear is there, and down he will go. The game of League of Legends, counting is key, and Shao, well, he miscounted, is now re-engaged, coming in for Razork. Nice zone away. Fnatic has to be careful not to stray too far forward, though, as they're losing a lot in the mid lane, bot lane.
So we're kind of getting the rest of Fnatic moving into position to be like, hey, maybe you can contest this because Leona was top, but Razork not in a position to follow up.
Classic Spectators are hoping to see that first win today. They do need to win 2 games back-to-back, and right now they only have about a 700 gold lead as well as a Drake, as Sobro perhaps a bit over-eager. Public execution, a good start to the play. Sobro has to flash away in anticipation of what's coming, but Panak! And he's immediately TPing elsewhere to cover mid.
Razork is top lane.
Razork is top lane. Maybe he shouldn't have TP'd so fast, but no. The stunned, not blocked by the spell shield. It looks like the empowered auto came in.
It was, yeah.
And now there's a fight in the bot lane. Vladdy doing a hell of a lot of damage, relatively uncontested. Sten doing his best front line. Solar Flare only connects on the slow as Lost forced to heal.
Wait,
try to walk away.
Another gank?
On the way down.
One?
They're ganking everywhere. Vladdy, another flick. This time they're forced to flash away. Vladdy desperate to try to get anything back, but he's getting burned down. The bomb is ticking, and Vladdy gets a shutdown. I didn't really see what happened there with Nuke, but he does die. It would appear to the tower, but Shifters are alive.
I think it was the empowered Q across the minions bounced to the Tristana. I'll need to double check. Yeah, I think it was the Essence Flux. Need to double check.
Ezreal W, excuse me.
Oh, sorry, yeah. But the Arcane Flux, whatever it's called.
We're Googling Rise abilities.
Fluxy.
You're professional. Spell Flux.
Yeah, Spell Flux, yeah.
Spell Flux, we got there. I figured it out, and then I opened the thing. Spell Flux.
Yeah, Paduk living up to his name, though, apparently migrates this time of year all over the map. Moving both to the top.
Gets there from Padak. This man is on a mission to take control of this game. Highest KP alongside Nuke. The Nuke Duck combo looking good. Laspa, excellent pullback to stop that dive from going through it. Now Sobro's tanking the tower. Looks like they're going to lose one in the process. So as good as it looks for Laspa, it hasn't amounted to much. The cross map isn't too threatening quite yet. Laspa lives for a damn long time as the curtain call comes out. But this is going to mean Herald dropped in the mid lane. Likely to break down that mid lane tier 1. Upset moving up to cover top lane, and the bot lane also uncontested. But Shifters now 2,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, doing a very nice job of just constantly moving around the map and making plays with these. You can see where Fnatic are on the map. They're not in position to contest this.
No, they certainly are not. Nice to get the consolation prize of that kill. Razork Vladdy this time around. Nuke looking to do something similar.
Yeah, no vision for Fnatic here.
Lockup stun is there. Razork flashing away. Still likely going to die. Vladdy doing his best to cover. Nice knock off the wall.
Wait a sec, that's a lot of damage.
That is a lot of damage. Sten now in trouble. Ulti, public execution, the fight continuing. Paddock's gone a little bit too far. Shifters, no! You've thrown it all away! Realm Warp in. Shifters, is this your time to fight? Blast Cone is there. They're locked up. They're rooted. Can anyone hit the Blast Cone? No is the answer. Shifters running for dear life. Ulti out is not going to happen. Vladdy snipes him with the
ulti. Like, he is the focus here, and if he can find some of these plays, the Shifter is trying to retake position.
Shifter's determined to take Razork out of the equation, whose spell shield is now gone, turning right back on Sheo, trying to get tricky with it. Public execution doesn't hit. Sobro forced to flash over the wall to look for the follow, but Padak is once again caught out on the backside. Nice flick back from Padak, keeps the fight going, and Rooster in the midst of the team doing a hell of a lot of damage. Nuke allowed to free fire for a moment. That's the reset. Looking to bounce across the entire team. Flash forward. One more auto. Another reset, but he gets knocked out of the sky. The claws of Razork seal the deal. Oh! Oh! Skeet shooting in the bottom lane.
Play as well. Hiding off a vision to find this as Shifters overextend. It looked a little dicey at this point, but Sobro has a very tanky stats as Laspa.
Yeah. Now hold that thought. Razork turning the lights off for a brief moment, running for dear life. His double TPs are on the way. Fnatic did manage to grab the Baron in the time of that replay and will walk away with all 5 members standing pretty massive. Shifters kicking themselves after that last fight, costing them so much in the end. They might try to go for this tier 2, but it's still a bit of a tough take.
Dragon. Shifter is going to give up this Dragon and maybe look for a play on top side. The double globals of Sheo and Paduk are in the area.
And looking to support him. All 5 members could be here in the blink of an eye. There is no cross map available outside of the Drake. Thank you, observers. No towers threatened yet. Razork going to be the split pusher at this point. Moving down to try to force that wave in. Still a minute left on this Baron power play.
I think Fnatic have to give this top tower though, because Razork did show on bot side, can't get to this tower to defend it yet. And you kind of have to keep yourself on mid wave as well. So Shifters, they still get.
Yeah. So look, look, you got the Baron, and the Baron and that entire sequence of play evened the game up. What's given Fnatic the lead now is well, as those sequence of fights. They won't get to do that yet.
Risky from Stand. You have many members of Fnatic here, even the Realm War potential. Laspa wants to fight.
Laspa very determined to fight. Celestial Opposition about to fade away. Lights turned off. He's in first damage to kick the fight off. Razork staying in range. Nice back step to get away from the seismic shove. Is Vladdy now on a rampage?
Gone, and everyone on Fnatic can now cover.
And look, they have Tristana, like, they can kill Baron relatively fast on shifters, but they just don't actually have the time.
Really having that big threat. At least with IE completed, he can be a nuisance in these fights. But not a Fnatic close on him.
Lights turned off, Engage coming in, down goes Paddock. Public execution uses the backline, unstoppable, not unkillable, however, as Fnatic realm warp in, trying to keep the fight going. Vladdy gonna get stunned up. Rooster able to try and dissuade Fnatic from following, but Upset is so damn powerful. 4-shot on to stand. Deadly Flourish, a nice sidestep, keeping things in their favor. Razork walking up, Upset now unstoppable, as he manages to take down Sten.
Functioning as a unit so well, and shifters unfortunately just are being barreled over by Fnatic at this stage of the game.
Cheo ready to ult in, ready to do what it takes to steal the objective. Whatever it takes, he does it! Yeah! He can't flash out. He completely messes that part up. But Fnatic, I did really want to see him play this champion. I do think he had a much more active early game, but it's not been a good one. Speaking of not a very good one, Paddock running for his life, but look at that jump chase! Look at that little wiggle, it's the cutest thing I've ever seen! Not for Paddock though, he's dead. We're gonna need to see that one again too, observers. You've offered me this power and I'm not willing to give it back. I need to see the wiggle.
Oh, Paddock, that's so sad.
He had the right
follow
instinct.
the entire way, and the fact that there's
Nuke does damage. Nuke does a lot of damage. Nuke just going to start to walk down Razork. Razork not quite sure if he wants to turn. Rooster finding a bit of CC onto Vladdy in the meantime. Nuke off to the side though in trouble. Sobero starts the chase. Rooster effectively unkillable. That's a big shutdown. Nuke now with a reset on the jump. Presumably stun though not going to land. Rooster going golden. Nuke can't really walk up though, so that's probably just a dead. Jax is going to jump backwards. Curtains being called. Bullet gonna connect on Nasheo. Second bullet on Nasheo. Oh, that last one! Landing under the key target. Nuke once again sniped in the fight. Cannot get an honest battle between him and Upset as, well, Nasheo, not long for the world. Double kill for Fnatic. This game, much better for shifters in the early game, but as has been the story for the entire season, it is simply not enough.
Yeah, Fnatic find their way back in the mid-game, punishing some of those overextensions from shifters. I mean, inhibitors falling. There's still 30 seconds on the top side.
Another engage. Decent attempt at the flick from Paddock, but now that they're on top of him, there's really nowhere for him to go. Fear Tether still connects. Upset goes godlike. Fnatic. The early game looked like it was falling apart, but Razork held steady. He's now leveraged his advantage into those big fights in the jungle. Shifted things back in Fnatic's favor. 8,000 gold to end it. Fnatic take down shifters 2-0. Moving up to a 3-3 scoreline.
Nicely done by Fnatic. It looked a little dicey in the early
We
stages.
saw you singing it earlier. Yeah? You like that song?
I mean, I'm just addicted to it, I think. Kind
Really?
of. We are also mega spamming it in,
It's like a
in our
vocal
office.
stim.
Yeah.
I get it. It is addictive. Say, we talked about you a lot in the pre-show because it was very obvious that you had really great performances last week, actually a lot better than before. I think that's fair to say. We talked to your performance coach about everything, but I'd love to know from your perspective, kind of what changed, what did you optimize, like how come you feel so much more comfortable now?
Not sure. I mean, I think after we went 0-3, I think I just said, okay, I'm just gonna play the game. That's it. I will just go and play the game and not think about anything else but the game, and I think that's what I'm doing now, and I think it shows that I'm not being nervous anymore on stage.
Yeah.
So how do you view on solo queue? Because you played a lot of solo queue and we've been tracking you. And whenever I played that much solo queue, I think it was always because I felt like I had something to prove. Do you feel like it's just... Do you feel like the solo queue mindset shift has really been big for you? Or is it just you don't really view it as a reason why it's changed so much?
Yeah, I don't really see it as a very useful thing, I would say. And as I said before, I think you still get some stuff like to practice some jumps, or I think even side lane, I think you can get some things. I think in the off season, by spamming that much solo queue, I think I got better on side, I would say. But yeah, I mean, I've seen people saying that I play too much solo queue, but I'm sorry, it's my job, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't play solo queue, then I don't know. Like,
We're hearing mixed opinions then, because I think Odo said that you were playing also other things and that's good, but you seem to think that you should just be spamming solo queue, right?
no, I'm not saying you should spam solo queue, but I'm saying even if you play a lot of solo queue, I think it's still good to do. It's still the game you are playing. Obviously, it's a bit different, like competitive-wise, it's different, right? But it's still the same game.
Yeah.
So but talk to me a little bit, because I noticed something you said. You feel like you've become better at playing side lane from solo queue? Is it just because you're pressuring deeper on side, you're shadowing more? What exactly are the concepts that you think you got better at on
I
side
mean, as
laning?
you said, I think I'm doing all these things. I think I'm not dropping waves.
Yeah.
Like people just push one wave. They're like, oh, okay, the side wave is neutral, so I will just go with the team and just press S and not do anything. But I think there are certain timers where you can push more, for example, if you have vision or if you think you can do so. And I think I did it better in solo queue in the off-season.
Yeah.
Hey, nice to see. About this game, Finn, you want to talk about the globals, I think?
I mean, I didn't really want to talk about the globals, because that was mostly for shifters, because they had
yeah,
a lot
right,
of
right,
globals.
right,
It felt
right,
like no
right.
matter where you were, there was either a Pantheon ult or an Nocturne ult. Does that shift how you play the game? Do you always have to stay super mindful of that, or is it kind of scary?
I mean, I think you could see in the first game that they were grouping so much.
Yeah.
And obviously, when we saw that they have so many globals, we knew that, okay, they will still do the same thing, probably, just look to overload and group a lot on mid, but we should pay more attention this game on side because they have the Pantheon ult, as you said, the Talia ult, so obviously it changes a bit on how we play on side as a team.
Because it's tricky, you know, when you have a side lane comp, because you have Nocturne, you want to play side. But they also have super easy ways to attack you on side. You have to be very precise. Is it something you're communicating with your jungler, or is everyone kind of doing their own thing?
I mean, I think it's a mix, and as people saw, this game was very messy because I don't think we did very good, and I think it's a hard comp to execute, especially if the enemies have globals as well. So, yeah, I think we just need to get better at this kind of comps.
Do you want to look at the Baron, Vladdy? Because what happened?
I'm just saying, Fnatic GPT did its thing.
It did. It did.
I'm stoked because
And stunned.
yeah, I don't know that we're gonna get this version of Fnatic, but playing slow and controlled and making correct decisions was not something that was ever on my Fnatic bingo
But it
card.
was a mix, it seemed like, for me, right? Because it was that, but then it was also pulling the trigger. Like, at one point, wasn't, you know, there was one fight where it didn't work out, but that doesn't matter in the span of a game, right? It's the mix, I feel like.
It is the mix, and it's a lot of responsibility put on Razork from the draft. Like, he's playing this Jarvan, and he's the sole main engage. And sometimes, when I watch Fnatic games, I'm not sure I would have that much faith in Razork as the sole main engage, but I think...
You don't want to give him too much responsibility, let's put it like that.
No, but if you look at a draft here that Fnatic came out here with, it was the Razork on the Jarvan, and then did you see, you have 3 types of follow-up engage. You have the Nami ult, the Rumble ult, the Yone ult. It gives Razork so much confidence, knowing that if he engages, his teammates can follow from 2 screens away. And I feel like he really felt very zen this game. He didn't really go for plays he didn't need to, but when he needed to pull the trigger, he did it.
I really want to showcase something that Finn said backstage. He said that it feels like shifters are not even playing the game. And this comes from that 1-2 the shifter does, where they separate the Milio from the Lucian. And when you do this sort of gamble where you want to break up a prominent combo, you need to first win lane, which they didn't, but also you want this to secure something else somewhere else in the comp, because what Finn said, that they are not even playing the game, you see it. Who is the one who will make a fight happen for you? If you get behind, who's going to bring you back in the game? Because all you have is follow-up CC with the Lee Sin and the Galio, but who's going to set you up to do any sort of wombo combo?
I think it's just a fundamental misalignment of how you approach a draft. So let's break it down as simple as we can, okay? How does shifters win this game? You need your Yunara to be ahead. You agree?
Yes.
What tools do we have to allow Yunara to be ahead?
Listen. Can't he come and gank?
There's nothing. I mean,
Oh.
I feel like there's no way, unless shifters, for some reason, if Padak becomes the best laner in the world and just generates a natural 2v2 lead in an even matchup, I don't see where shifters is getting their win from, because Nuke was pushing in the Yone, but he can't really rotate all the way down. That's not really what Victor wants to do. The Galio was just quietly losing into the Rumble, and Shio, I think he felt a very heavy burden this game. He felt like he had to do something, but he couldn't quite find it.
The thing that shifters had going for them was that Drake stacking, because in LEC, we're usually a region that is scrappy, slow, doesn't really play the best League of Legends, so more often than not, the team that does get the first 2 Drakes, you know, you will end up winning the game, because then you force the team to start fighting you and engaging on you. But Fnatic, this is the slow and controlled part that really, really impressed me. Every single time, you see right there, 69% win rate with the first 2 Drakes. So technically, the Yunara Emilio should be getting this sort of situation where they're forced to fight, but Fnatic did something really impressive for me, because I don't see this from other teams in the region, bar KC and G2, is that Razor did great cross maps, because with each Drake that they were giving over to Shifter, he was getting 500 gold up. At some point past the second Drake, with all the cross maps happening, they were 1k gold up, and then it all culminates with one big fight where Fnatic, all of a sudden, you are there at the objective first, you did these trades where you're taking the gold, forcing the fight, when this should have been the prime position for Shifters to be winning this fight.
Yeah, and it comes back to the fact that Shio feels the pressure to be the one to force the fight. You see, he takes the first one with he thinks Razor goes too deep into his jungle, smites his Gromp from Razor's word. He rage baited Shio to go for this play. But it's like, Shio has played this game for 15 minutes, can't really find a single fight, and this is one opportunity where maybe a fight happens, takes that play, and suddenly the game is unplayable for the rest of the game. Like, you cannot do anything after this point as Shifters.
But this is the interesting part, because usually in the region we're always feeling that, oh, it's the pressure is on Fnatic because they need to come and they need to take the third Drake and they need to, you know, bring the game, slow down the tempo and bring it back under their control. But no, it was completely different. The pressure was now on the side of Shifters where, hey, already we're losing control of the game, we're starting to fall behind in gold. If we don't get this third Drake, then all of a sudden our only win condition, which ended up being maybe the soul at 20 minutes, is completely gone. And we saw it. It just went completely out the window and it was GG.
It was. Vladdy had a little bit of a rough laning phase to begin, but it's not about how you start, it's how you end.
Exactly, because my main criticism of Vladdy in the previous weeks was his laning phase. And even though, sure, you have games where it just doesn't go well. And this one, sure, the matchup Yone versus the Victor, you end up falling behind a little bit. But beforehand, you would see Vladdy lose his mind and completely run it down. But now there was a lot of action on the mid lane. Everyone was there to back him up. And time was on his side. We already saw by minute 15, 18, the Yone, who was, I don't know, 200 gold down on the Victor, he hit his power spike, Berserker Kreese, Blade of Durin King. He was completely OP.
And there's one thing that I don't know Fnatic's comms, I don't know how they communicate, but something that I felt watching them, and something that I think is happening behind the scenes, is a lot of reassurance. It felt like a Fnatic where they're constantly saying, we can give this, we can cross-map, Vladdy, it's fine, you just need to get one item. They were so relaxed and confident that when they get their item spikes, when they reach that moment where they can team fight, they will come out on top. And it felt like Fnatic wasn't stressed at all. It was a low cortisol gaming all around.
Well, I don't know how the comms were this game, but I can tell you how they were a couple of weeks ago, because it was the typical bad team syndrome where someone is doing a Drake and then someone on your team says,
are we fighting?
Exactly. Are we fighting? And someone says no, and the other guy says, no, but guys, we should fight. And then that's how you end up inting it.
Your top lane is cross-mapping with top lane. Guys, are we not diving this top lane?
I mean, Sobo entered a couple of times on side lane, but we saw this game. It was, oh, well, I guess they're first on the Drake. We give it. I'm going to go farm some campies, because that's how Razor calls the camps campies.
Wow, revolutionary,
so
revolutionary.
So endearing. And
it really culminated with this fight where Shifters, sure, they are down a lot of gold there, but you see they're standing there looking at Fnatic and they're like, we want to fight, we want to fight, we want to fight.
Yeah, and then they're just nothing.
And then they're like, okay, Shio, and go.
Look at Upset, by the way.
Upset just glides all over Shifters.
Flashes in. And you were saying, Odo, because we meme so much about Lucian win rate and we looked it up, like, of course, it's a little better now. I think now is it 5-13 or 6-13?
I think it's 6 and 13 right
But
now.
it wasn't Upset who was one of the wins, I checked. But you said that in scrims, he's such a demon on Lucian. And I feel like that's a tale with most ADCs. They're probably pretty good on Lucian. It just doesn't work in our competitive environment.
Exactly, because in scrims, when you play Lucian, more often than not, it's a scrim game, so someone is running it down, someone is getting you fed on Lucian, and then you get to play URF mode Lucian pretty much. But more often than not in the LEC games, the games are very, very slow, and when you don't have this goal difference between the ADCs, it feels like it doesn't really get a lot of impact. But this game, I feel like you did great. The Nami separation of like finding the Nami combo now with Lucian empowered them to do more, and all he had to do was bide his time and just make it to the late game.
Yeah, Shifters going into this next game, a lot to work on. I mean, let's start with the draft, I guess.
I mean, Shifters, you need to show me something. Come on.
Yeah.
It's been 5 series
it's like,
now.
do something.
It's a 6 series now. You need to show me something that you can build on. Whether it's Shio looking in a carry and a full clearing and then going for team fights like they did in Heretics, whether it's them just going full Senate on Rooster like they did in G2, they need to find somewhere they can look for plays, because this draft screams identity crisis.
Oof, identity crisis for Shifters. Let's see if they can find it after the break.